Welcome inside. Hi everybody, welcome back to our one-on-one series. Today I have the exciting opportunity to interview a rising voice in our community. His name is Emmanuel. He's going to tell us everything about his journey as an entrepreneur, how he started, what his business is about, and most importantly his event that's going to be massive and happening at the end of the year. Before we get started, make sure that you have already subscribed, liked, and share, and grab a friend, a cup of tea, and enjoy. So, Emmanuel, what actually inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
So basically, when I moved to the US 6 years ago, I found there was a big opportunity like for African diaspora to start something great, so we can build generation wealth. Because I moved in the US and I did all the job I work for all those huge corporations that you know, and I didn't really find satisfaction. And then I was like, you know what, I need to create something because I'm a very ambitious person. I didn't just want to be locked in. I was thinking like I was in the cage, you know, so I wanted to explore something new, take new challenges because I love challenge. That's why I was like, okay, you know what, let me start awakening. And there we are.
And how long have you been an entrepreneur for again?
Well, basically a full-time entrepreneur, I can say 5 years, but I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, you know, like in South Africa. I used to have my small creative agency, so I was doing it like right after work. So I'll go to work, and when I come back home around 7, 8, I'll start working on my personal stuff until like maybe midnight, and then I'll go to bed. So, but when I moved to the US, I saw the opportunity, and I was like, you know what, let me jump into it and become a full-time entrepreneur.
And why did you move here from South Africa? Because I know this is the international hub of businesses, as one of my friends did let me know. Yeah.
So basically, I can say opportunity. America is a land of opportunity. You know, there's opportunity everywhere, but for me, like from experience, I was like, America is the only place, not really the only place, but that's a place for me to go and grow and, you know, build my business, build my empire. So that was one of the things that really inspired me to, that motivated me to come to the US.
Okay. Yes. So I want to get to know you. So please describe yourself in 3 words.
Well, Emmanuel is a very ambitious person. I'm very patient, and I'm a very fun person for people who are very close to me. Other people think I'm shy, but I'm a very fun person.
You seem very reserved to me.
Kind of.
But yet you're a very funny person.
Oh yeah, I'm very funny. You just have to be close to me, you know, because I'm not really very open to everybody. But whenever you get to me, close to me, you understand like how fun I can be. You know?
Okay. Okay.
So,
that's good. So how did you start your business?
Yes, that's a very good question. As I said, I found out like there was a big opportunity for me to come and like, you know, to put into or to create values for all Africans living in the diaspora. And as of right now, before I go back to your question, I'm no longer just serving the African community living in the US, but now I'm also with the African Americans, you know, Black Americans, we're helping their businesses. So when I was working, I just don't want to say like the names of those corporations where I used to work, but when I was working, I wasn't really happy, you know, being controlled by someone, you know, and not me fulfilling my dreams. So, you know, America, they make you work, you know, they really make you work. By the time you get home, you're so exhausted that you cannot really start doing your own stuff. Exactly. So I was like, you know what, let me try to jump on it. And it was very risky. I spoke to a few of my friends and families, and everybody were like, you know what, man, like just take off your job, you know, just stay there. Maybe you can get some promotion, you grow, you just have to be patient. But that wasn't really my path. And then I was like, you know what, no, I'm not going to follow or listen to what people are telling me. It's not that I don't like to listen to or to take advice, but I was just trying to follow my passion, you know. And I was like, let me jump into it. And then I did jump into it. And then here we are. Awakening is growing and growing.
That's good.
Yes.
So this is a question that's actually going through my mind.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
A lot of people, I usually hear this rhetoric about a lot of people not wanting to be stuck in the 9 to 5
Yes.
because they don't want to have their time control.
Yes.
They just don't want to have any sort of authority.
Yes.
But is everyone actually called to become an entrepreneur?
No. Because to become an entrepreneur is tough. You control your time, but it's really tough. So here's the thing. When you work for someone, they control your time, but they pay you based on the time that they're getting from you. Like, let's say if you have a job from 9 to 5, they control your time, right? But at least every 2 weeks or the end of the month, you know you have a salary. But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't work 9 to 5. You can work like maybe 10 to 15 hours a day, like 7 days a week. There is no stop, you know, and there is no guarantee that you're going to make money. Sometimes you can be like, okay, I'm going to make maybe $3,000 this month, or let's say you have a day job where they pay you like maybe $3,000 to $5,000 or $10,000. At least you know it's guaranteed. Like, as long as you have the job, you have the salary. But when you're an entrepreneur, first of all, you have to think. You have to have a plan of how you're going to make money, and then you have to put on the work. So if you don't do that, sometimes you can put on the work, you can really sweat, you can work hard, but you don't get the payment. So not so many people are built up for that, you know, because you know you have to pay your bills, you have so many expenses you have to take care of. So if you don't have the money, it's going to be like a big issue. So not everybody is called to be an entrepreneur, because to be an entrepreneur, you need to be mentally prepared. You need to be patient. And then you have to know what you're doing. You need to have a plan. Yes.
So we're in this era where most successful people that we know, that we see on television, they also do some type of entrepreneurship. So would you quantify being an entrepreneur as a form of success?
Not really. And you know, we're living in the era where like we're living the social media era. And as I always say, social media, you only post your best. And then so many people try to impress you, to show you like we kind of big or we successful, but while they're not. And this era as well, as I said, is really tough because our generation, we don't really want to work for people, right? So many people are trying to become entrepreneur because that gave you freedom. Because whenever your business grow, that will give you more freedom, especially financially. Because we talk about mostly freedom, because the more you're financially free, you can control your time and you can really do other things that you really love. Because your business or everything that you're trying to do is gonna work for you to produce some money on the side that can really help you to free up your time. You can start paying other people to do the job that you're supposed to do by yourself. So entrepreneurship is good, but it's not really a sign of success, because so many people are trying to put it like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm successful now. To become a successful entrepreneur, it takes a lot. It really takes a lot and long time as well. You have to follow the process.
Okay, so what would you say are the traits of an entrepreneur?
That's a good one. Like the trait of an entrepreneur, you have to be patient. That's number one. You need to be very ambitious. And then entrepreneurship equal taking risk. So you have to be a risk taker. If you're not a risk taker, you don't have to become an entrepreneur. Just go and find a 9 to 5 job, work, sit there, do what they tell you to do. Like, okay, do this, do that, and then at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, you get your money.
You make it sound so depressing.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing, though, because if you're an entrepreneur, you need to be patient. You need to take risk. Taking risk means like you can have some money in the bank account, and then you'll be like, okay, let me invest in this business venture, without knowing if it's gonna work or not. That's a big risk. It's like you take $5,000 or $1,000 on your bank account, and you invest in something that you're not sure if it's going to work. If it works, good, you did something good. But if it doesn't work, that's part of the risk. And
at least, not to cut you off, you said you take risk, but you're not really sure if it's going to work. But don't you kind of have like a system in place where you're able to actually predict if it's going to work, or you just go blind?
No, you can predict. You can predict stuff, but as I said, entrepreneurship is not about like, you know, having everything working fine the way you want it to work, because things can go sideways. Just look during the COVID. Who knew like COVID is gonna come? How many businesses closed? You know, that wasn't, they had a system in place already, they have everything. But so many companies went bankrupt. Even those huge corporations, they had like, you know, like millions of dollars, but in a matter of 3 to 4 months, they had to close down the business. So those are the part of like, you know, things can happen all the time. You can have maybe a customer who can sue you. You can have like this who can do this to you. So those are the things that can really affect your business or the venture that you're trying to pursue, and then like it's gonna really, you have to be prepared, and if anything like that happened to you, so that's part of entrepreneurship.
Okay. So what's the greatest challenge that you have encountered as an entrepreneur?
Yes, the greatest challenge was to first of all, when I started, it was like for my community, first of all, to accept what I was doing, because, you know, in our community, we cannot really lie about it. Sometimes it's very tough for people, your own to really believe in what you do, you know. So it takes a lot of time for them to really believe, and with consistency, good work, and when you're very serious, so that can really help you to, you know, to overcome that. So on my side, I can say it was also the same problem, and then that was mostly also the financial problem, like funding. How can I fund the business so I can grow, you know? It was very challenging. Like, I remember I was even about to quit, you know, with my business, to say like, okay, let me just go back to my work, like to 9 to 5. Maybe I can make some money, it's guaranteed, and me going like walking the dog, not knowing where you're putting your, like, you know, your food and stuff. So, but with God's grace, with hard work, now I've managed to overcome some of the challenges, even though I didn't overcome everything, because when you're running a business, there's challenges every single day.
Isn't it stressful though?
Very.
Does it impact your mental health?
Yes. Sometimes yes, but I'm a firm believer. I believe in God, and then I always know, like, with God, everything is possible. Even if I don't control something today, I know God has a plan for me tomorrow. I'll be able to overcome the challenges that I have. So
aside from God, how do you cope with the stress?
How do I cope with the stress? Sometimes I speak to some of my close friends, and this is a funny thing though about me. I love going to movie just by myself. I'll go to the movie theater, I'll buy my popcorn, and then I'll go and watch a nice movie. Or I can go for a walk. And I love traveling as well. Sometimes I can just travel because I'm very stressed. You know, I just want to go and breathe new air, like, you know, see new things, and just forget about the work sometimes. Because you can become a slave of your business if you don't, if you're not too careful, you know. So you have just to create some balance. So I have some mentors that help me as well, you know, with, like, whenever I'm having like a lot of tough situation, they will tell you, okay, do this, do that, and maybe relax, take it easy, and all the stuff. And at the end of the day, still we go back to God. I always pray, hey, Dad, listen, like, I'm your son, you know, and you're the one who inspired me, you know, you're the one who gave me that strength for this knowledge to start this business. But as of right now, things are not really working, you know, what's up? Can you help me, you know? And I always believe, and because I've been through so many tough situations, but I always find a way. God always come like with a new plans for me to overcome that.
Oh, that's good. I actually like that. So enough with the depressive side, because I've kind of browsed your website and read your magazine, and I see that you guys are doing an amazing thing, even on your social media. So you're not, I'm pretty sure you still have some work to do. Like you said, you're not where you want to be. But what is your most satisfying moment so far?
So, opening our headquarters, the awakening headquarters in Dallas, that was very, I remember when I used to talk to my people, like my close people, my close friend, my mom especially, I was so excited. Mom, look, I was filming the video, like the building, because it's a huge building, because I was like, oh wow, this is a big accomplishment, you know. This is something I can really be proud of. And doing that was like one of the most great time for, like, you know, on a path of becoming like, I'm not saying it's successful, because I'm not very successful as of right now. I still have a long way to go. Still I have something, but I still have a long way to go. And also creating values for entrepreneurs, small business owners, or people who are trying to get into this world. And that's also one of the more, like, that's where I found my joy, you know, helping them. And then, like, yeah, I can say that.
Okay, so what's a typical day for you?
Good question. A typical day for me, I'm a very early morning person. Like, I wake up super early, like by 6 o'clock. And then from 6, the first thing before I leave my bed, I always pray, no matter what. But sometimes, you know, you can be late, and then you jump. But every time before I leave my apartment or before I drive my car, it'll take maybe 2 minutes to pray. So it's like waking up, pray, gym. I go to the gym to do some cardio or to lift some weight. And then I'll come back maybe to read maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I'll go to work and work. I work a lot.
You work a lot?
I do work a lot. It's like sometimes I work 12 to 15 hours a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very long.
I know.
Non-stop without a break.
Like, it's really rare for me to take a break. Even when I'm eating at work, like, I always eat with my computer. You know, yeah. It's like I barely go to the break room to sit down, because I just feel like I'm wasting time, because I'm always on calls, emails, you know, like trying to find strategy, meetings with my team. And so basically from like in the morning, that's where I'm more productive. From 12 to 3 to 4, I take calls, I respond to emails, I send emails, and I always have like staff meetings. And it's basically after 6, that's why I always try to work again a lot. You know, I can work like maybe from 6 to 9, and then like, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do.
So you did mention that you like to read. What type of books do you like to read?
Well, I like to read, like, there are so many books that are like, as of right now, I'm reading this book called How to Sell. How to sell, like, you know, sell like crazy. You know, sell like crazy, how to become like a better salesperson. So I mostly read books that can really help me to develop my mind, like, you know, my mindset. You know, my mindset. Or sometimes I read articles. I read a lot of articles of successful people, and I read the Bible as well. Yeah. But on the Bible, I can say I have to kind of pick up a little bit, because there's been, like, you know, some time where I'm not really, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really very active in reading Bible, but that's something that I'm really working on to go back to that path, because the business can really make you forget about God sometimes. Really? Yes.
Because you're so immersed in what you're doing?
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes you don't find time for yourself, you know. You leave early, because we open the business, my office will open at 8:30 in the morning. So as the head of the business, I have to be there on time so I can set an example. Because whenever you're late, other people, your team, they will tend to come late as well, because they know, like, the boss is always late. So I always do my best to be at work at 8:30. So just imagine, I have to wake up at 6, go to the gym, try to do some breakfast, and then by 8:30 I have to be at work, and then I can get there by 8:30, leaving by 9 p.m. or sometimes 10 p.m. So just imagine the amount of time that I spend at the office. So it's sometimes can be exhausting. When you get home, you just want to take a shower and sleep. Yeah.
Okay, that actually makes sense. I have a pretty busy life myself, multitasking, so I definitely understand what you're talking about. So now let's talk about your magazine, Awakening. Okay. So I heard you guys are actually hosting a business lounge this year. Tell us more about it.
So, starting with the magazine, that's my baby. The magazine is a one-stop shop for all African Americans in the US. So we provide a space for entrepreneurs, business owners to come and learn how to start a business, how to market a business, how to raise funds for the business, how to market, and how to scale the business as well. So how to start a business, we have like a program where you can come, okay, hey, awakening, like I have this type of business idea. How can you advise them? We can say, okay, like this is the business idea, this is what you can do to start a business, or you can register your business legally. And then whenever you have all the paperwork, okay, now we can start, okay, this is the strategy you can use for marketing. This is all you can do to create like a business plan, so you can have like a foundation or something that will guide you throughout your business. And then we can connect you with so many partners that we work with, like starting with the SBA, the Small Business Administration. We do have a lot of funding partners as well that we can refer businesses to, and we help them for the success as well. So that's basically the magazine. And then we do have a co-working space where we're giving space for small business owners, especially business people who do not really have like the budget to rent an office. The come is a very inexpensive place, very productive. You get access to most of our resources, like our staff members can help you in different stuff. And we do also like have like a podcast studio where like entrepreneurs come and speak up like their voice, their ideas, so the whole world can listen to what they have, like, you know, the business ideas. So that's the part of the magazine. So the African Business Lounge is a signature event of Awakening. So it's an event that we host annually, and this is our 4th year hosting this event, and we're expecting over 1,000 people. And then as of right now, we have like over 200 people are going to come from Africa, different African countries, from Congo, Ghana, Mozambique, Angola, Chad, Nigeria, so Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. So those are the countries that are going to be represented. Like we have over 20 countries that are coming from Africa to come and participate in that expo. And then we're having, we at the expo, we're expecting more than 1,000 attendees. And then we're going to have more than 85 exhibitors. So it's something really big where we give entrepreneurs the opportunity to come, network, and then meet up with all those big corporations, investors, because we invite investors to come and listen to projects of like a lot of startup companies. That's why even during the event, we have a pitch competition. The pitch competition is a way for entrepreneurs to come and like, we're making people apply for it. So you apply to come and pitch your idea. So if we love your idea, like because we have like a very strong team of judges that are reviewing all the application, and then only the best are going to be selected for the grand final that will take place on December the 16th during the Youth Business Summit at the Expo. So we're giving a chance for entrepreneurs to come and pitch their idea, to show to the world that what are they capable of doing. Like we want to create some or give a space for creative people who have innovative ideas to come and pitch the idea, and then the winner will take $5,000 and will take home the grant. No string attached, nothing. So you the winner, you pitch your idea, and then you convince like the judges and the public that you're worth to get the money. We're giving you the $5,000 to help you to build your business.
Okay, so you spoke about the business lounge being an event where exhibitors are going to go expose their business.
Yes.
So what about a person that doesn't have a business but they just want to come and just see what's happening? How can they participate?
Yes, they're more than welcome, because as I said, we're expecting more than 1,000 attendees, and then we have more than 11 panel discussion on different areas. So it's a great opportunity for them to come and learn. You know, when you learn, you see how other people are doing. That can even motivate you more, like to go. For me to jump into this business world, I was looking up like into other people that have been doing great, and I was like, okay, myself, I want to be there. I want to be like them. You know, I have to work hard and I have to follow their path. So I think the event for those people, non-business people or people who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs, is a very good opportunity for them to come and learn and meet up with those great people that have been doing great and their business, to inspire them so they can start their own business. And then we are there as well to help any person who's trying to become an entrepreneur. We have partnership with different organizations here in Dallas, in the Dallas area, and throughout the US as well. So you can join us like virtually, or you can come physically to the event. We can always guide you in any questions, like especially for someone who's trying to start a business. And for business people, of course, they've been like in the game already, so they know what they will do.
So for attendees, participation will be free of charge?
Yes, free of charge for the first 2 days for the expo. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we're actually at the end. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have one last word that you would like to share?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. This is beautiful. I love the studio. Thank you for not biting me, because I was kind of shy at the beginning. Yeah, but I just want to invite a lot of people to come to the expo, like in December. This will be one of the biggest African and African American business expo. We're giving a chance to our community to come and learn. And if you have a business, come and expose your business. We have like still as of right now, we have like a space for exhibitors to come and apply and become exhibitor to showcase your business during the expo. And then for the pitch competition, I'm going to encourage, like, all those young entrepreneurs who are trying to build their businesses. Go into our website, afblaunch.org, apply to become to be selected on the pitch competition. You might be the next winner of $5,000. This $5,000 will help you to build your business. And as a winner, we have a team of mentors that are going to help you to really navigate throughout, like, your business journey. So thank you for having me, and then I hope to see you at the event.
All right, thank you so much, and I definitely confirm my presence at the event. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. As you heard Emmanuel himself, the event will be free of charge for anyone that wants to attend and learn, because the main purpose of that event is not to make money, but it's to be able to educate our community. So if you have time, please grab a friend and come and educate yourself. I will be there, and I cannot wait to see you there. In the meantime, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you have a good one. Bye.